Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Shooting the Shit with Yankee. And as usual, I am Yankee. Tonight's topic is going to be one that I keep getting asked about all the time when I mention how I won't buy something from Springfield Armory. They're like, well, why are we mad at Springfield Armory? Why should we boycott Springfield Armory? Well, you know what? I'm not telling anybody to boycott Springfield Armory, but I will tell you why I'm mad at them and why I won't buy anything from them and why I think you should probably be mad at them too. I will remind those people that have forgotten or tell those people that never knew. A long time ago in a land far, far away, actually, I think it was 10, 15 years ago, Springfield Armory, the ownership of Springfield Armory, in their state, there was a law that was going to be passed that was really going to hurt FFLs and gun manufacturers, gun retailers, etc. It was going to run a lot of them out of business in that state. Well, Springfield Armory, being a major player in that state, could have used their influence to try to fight the bill, but instead they went to the government and they said, I'll tell you what, if you pass this bill, we won't fight it if you make us exempt from it, if you give us an exemption. That way, you'll run a lot of our competition out of business. We'll profit from it financially. And we will be exempt from the law, so we will still be able to do what we want to do, and it'll just run other FFLs, other retailers, other manufacturers out of business. So they used their power and influence to try to make an unlevel playing field in their state to where they could continue to succeed and even get more success through illegitimate means, through working with politicians that they were basically paying off to write legislation that was bad for other FFLs, other gun-related businesses, but good for them. Now, at the time when they got caught, the owner tried to say, oh, I didn't know anything about this. It was this one guy whose office is right next to mine. He went through all this really involved process over several months, and I had no clue, which turned out to be total crap. I knew every bit about it. This guy was not doing anything without the owner of Springfield Armory's permission and without his consent. He was definitely involved in it. No one bought their story. And then he tried to say, oh, well, we fired him immediately. No, they didn't. They just basically changed his title and hid him away. So I don't know if he's still there now or not, but I wouldn't be surprised if he is. So that's what Springfield Armory did. They basically did what a lot of corporations do. They used their money, their influence, to buy off politicians, to write legislation that means other people won't be able to compete with them, but they will get unfair advantages. And in this case, by doing that, they were damaging the Second Amendment rights and the rights of the people in that state, but they were doing it for profit for themselves. And because of that, I will never buy anything directly from Springfield Armory. If I'm going to buy something from Springfield, I'm going to find it on the secondhand market. That way I know my money's not going directly to them and it's not increasing their sales margins for their new products or the products they're actually selling. So for something I have to have from Springfield, it's going to be something I buy used. Now, some people would say, well, this was a while ago. Shouldn't we forgive him? You know, you forgave Bill Ruger for the things he did. Well, there's two problems with that. One, Ruger didn't do a lot of the things people think he did. What Bill Ruger did was he came up with a way to try to prevent something way worse from happening because there was just going to be outright bans on a lot of things. Politicians had the votes for it, but he compromised in a way that, hey, we'll make these compromises if you don't just outright ban stuff. And he basically saved people from having worse things happen, but then got scapegoated by a bunch of people in the industry for doing something wrong, which he really didn't do. But even if he did do it, here's the thing. Bill Ruger's not in charge of Ruger anymore. So if that was something he did, I would not blame the current company for what he did. Springfield Armory, still owned by the same guy, still run by the same people that did those horrible things and never, ever really made up for it or even in any way took accountability for what they did and made it right. They just tried to pretend they didn't have anything to do with it, lied, and then hoped it went away. So that's why we don't like them. That's why I won't buy from them. And that's why, no, I will not forgive them now, not until they're under new management. Unless there's a new owner, I still will hold them accountable for what they did, because what they did was heinous. So that's, like I said, why we're mad and why I will not be forgiving them. Let me see now if there's any other people weighing in on this topic over here before we go any further. John Mandrick said, corporations are not our friends. I'd love to see them stop selling semi-auto rifles to law enforcement in Washington and California. Well, that's the thing, though. These businesses ain't going to do that. Big companies, even when they're big gun companies, they still want to make their money. And that's where they make a lot of their money. These contracts with government agencies, militaries, law enforcement, that pays their dividends on their stocks. So the stockholders aren't going to give up those sales. Definitely not to make a stand. People who count on corporations like Smith & Wesson, et cetera, to fight for your rights and do what's best for the Second Amendment or what's best for you, that's not going to happen. They're not going to do that. That's up to you to do. That's up to you and me to do that, because they're going to do what's best for business because they're a business. However, if they take that to the degree where they are writing laws that favor themselves while damaging other people or damaging us as a community, that's taking it a little further. I don't hold them as accountable when they still sell to police officers and law enforcement departments and military, because, you know, that's business. But if they sell us out or sell out the Second Amendment, that's something different. That's what Springfield Armory did. And that's why I do not forgive Springfield Armory. And like I said, it would be one thing if they came out and said, we did this. It was stupid. I don't know what I was thinking. Will you ever forgive me? That would be one thing. I don't know that I would forgive them unless they really proved that they were doing different and doing better now. But they didn't even do that. Like I said, he lied. He fabricated. He deflected. And then he hoped it went away. And Springfield Armory is not this old storied company that a lot of people think it is. The guy basically bought a logo, a decommissioned logo, and started slapping it on Croatian imports. Guns that you used to be able to buy for, $285. He slapped the logo he bought on them and sold them for $500. It wasn't like this is a storied American company that, did a lot of good in the past and blah, blah, blah. No, it was a guy who was greedy. It worked out for him. And then he got even greedier to where he wanted to fix the playing field. Like how a lot of businesses, they make it to where you can't compete. They work with banks, they work with the politicians, and they make sure they don't have any competition. That's why there is no free market anymore. And Springfield Armory was engaging in that kind of behavior, and that's why I won't forgive them. Someone else here chimed in. Who was this? It was Edgar Cortez. Said, I do not own any Springfield, but I have shot some sweet 40 caliber Springfield handguns. There's a lot of cool Springfield stuff out there. Some of their 1911 imports were awesome. But like I said, I would only own them if I could find them secondhand. It's kind of like with Turkish stuff. Like, I won't buy stuff from a Turkish company. That's why I don't have one of those triple barrel shotguns. If I would have bought stuff from a Turkish company new, I'd own one. But I always hold out hoping I'll find one used, and I never have found one used when I can afford one. So don't own one. That's the same thing with Springfield. I own some Springfield rifles. I have 2 of them sitting right here. I have a Springfield, I think it's a national match champion or something like that, or national match or something. And I've got the Springfield squad gun. So the M1As. So I will buy their products, but I'll buy them secondhand. I bought them from estate sales. So won't buy directly from them, but they do make a lot of guns that I think are great, especially their 1911s. And like I said, some of their new guns, like the 10 millimeter 3.8, very interested in that, but still will not buy it. I got to have principles. I don't got much else, but I do have principles. Tattooed Fucker is chiming in here and said, agree with you 100%, to hell with Springfield Armory. I hate having to explain to everyone when it comes up. Yeah, they don't seem to remember what it is. People are very short-sighted. People don't bother to learn what's going on. And that's why companies are allowed to get away with stuff like this. That's why politicians are continually being bought by corporations, because people don't pay attention. And I, for one, I'm going to pay attention. Now, a lot of people get mad sometimes because I also don't mention Rock River Arms. Because they're like, why don't you ever mention them? I'm like, well, I don't mention them because nobody mentions them. I'd rather pretend they're not a thing, but they are complicit also, because they're the same. They were in the same boat with Springfield Armory, but I would never buy any of them from them anyway, so I don't worry about that. Also, here we got Al5FK, whatever that is. Accidental Extra. He says, F Springfield, all hail Phil. Yes, all hail Phil. Remember, if you want to show your support for Phil, pay your tithe, do a super chat during the America Guns and Freedom chat tonight that will be running after this one if you're watching this live. Also, you can go over and buy some merchandise with Phil on it. We sell Phil t-shirts, Phil hats. We also sell other stuff like what I'm wearing right here, my sexy shirt with me as Harley Quinn on it. So if you want to buy some merchandise and want to support the TYMP Pistol Project, please go on over there and do that. We are always looking for support. So if you want to do some shopping over there, we would appreciate it. But as I was saying, that was our topic for tonight. What Springfield did, why I hate them, and why I won't buy from them. I'm glad to see most people agree with me. But if you didn't know what they did, now you do. Now you don't have an excuse. But with that being said, I want to go ahead and close up here and say thanks to everybody for coming. Thanks for those of you that weighed in here during the chat to keep the conversation rolling. If you want to be involved in the chat, come to one of our live chats at night. We have them every night at 6 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. on Wednesday. That's the only exception. So come on in, be part of the conversation, let your opinion be known, or just come in and stay for the after chat and just be part of the community. We welcome everybody in here and hope you come on over and join us and have a good time. With that being said, I want to thank everybody once again for participating tonight, for coming on over, and I hope to see you all here tomorrow night. Until then, remember, always carry and stay safe until I see you again.